Definitely rang.
Yep.
Hello everyone and welcome to our 14th Fireside Chat. I'm Tim Hollick and with me as always is my good friend Joe Zinni.
We did it 14.
Can you believe it?
I know when you talked about it that, you know, you're kind of like one behind. It's hard to believe that we're going through them as quick as we are. We're doing good with this.
We are. I'm having fun. I hope everybody's having fun listening to them.
I talked to Carissa the other day. She put them on the website. We got them on YouTube. So they're a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that what we're doing is getting stuff that people know about but don't always think about. I think it brings it out, and it's part of when you do your posts and whatnot. This week we're going to talk about patience, which I know a lot of people struggle with. We do it, but we're learning. We're doing a little bit better. I know that one of the things that I read on one of your posts not too long ago about patience, you can't always get what you want, you get what you need by the Rolling Stones. And you talked a little bit about that. And one of the things you talked about was how your mom used to say, Timmy, be patient. It'll work out. And I think that you live by that at times when it seems like things are getting difficult. You revert back to that.
Well, I mean, you know, as you go through life, especially when you start a business, there's a lot to think about. And, you know, of course, you want to succeed. So you're constantly going at it and things aren't happening. So you're right. I get down sometimes and say, Timmy, be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day. And it was a great cliche to think about. It's so true. Rome wasn't built in a day.
It wasn't. That's right.
And you have to take your time and be patient because things take time. They don't just happen overnight most of the time. Maybe short-term thinking does, but not long-term thinking. And we talk about it with, you know, marketing and advertising and stuff. And we have to have patience because you have to think long-term, not short-term. And when I built this business, I've always built it long-term. It's easy to build it short-term because it could just be cheap prices, attract people that way.
Right.
But it doesn't work the same to me. You don't build relationships. So that's why I've always gone for the long-term. So it just took me time to understand that, to be patient, that it's not going to happen overnight. Sometimes you think it's not going to happen. I got to admit, I go to bed some nights thinking, have I done the right thing? Is it me? You know, should I have started my business? Should I have just gone to work for somebody? You start questioning yourself. And
You do.
At that time, you don't have the patience. And things take time. She was exactly right, you know, and I learned that as you go along because as you grow, you have to have more patience. If you want to be in sales, you have to have patience.
Yes, that's a huge.
You really do. It takes time to build that relationship with people. You know, on my end, you know, it's contractors. Contractors bring us consistent work. So when we go after contractors, you just can't expect to meet the person once and they're going to start buying from you.
No.
But I think everybody believes that. If it doesn't work that first time, they stop.
Yeah, right. And you know what? I think a good example of that is the story that you tell about Don Falconeri, which was really important to you. I think it taught you patience at a young age. You weren't getting anywhere. Next thing you know, Don Falconeri, and that made a big difference in your life.
It did because it was like two and a half years in. Like I said earlier, I started questioning myself. You know, am I doing things right? Are we good? Am I good? Should I have done this? And finally, Dom came walking in my mother's yard in 1982 and started buying doors from us.
Right.
He still made his own cabinets, he said, but he didn't want to make us doors. So that's what we started out doing, just making doors. But it was something. It was the first contractor to come visit me in my mother's yard because I had a shop back in the garage. And we made doors for him for like a half a year to a year maybe. And then he started buying kitchens from us. And when he started buying kitchens from us, all of a sudden, all the contractors in town started flooding me. So, you know, the biggest thing I get out of that song, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you're fine. You get what you need.
Right.
Because you're not ready sometimes to get a flood.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, I wasn't ready for all those contractors coming. I was working all the time to keep up. So what did it teach me? That sometimes it just comes all at once. Yeah, I got what I wanted. But
Careful what you want.
yeah, careful what you want. So, you know, patience, you have to have that. And if I had that in my mind to begin with, maybe I would have done it a little bit differently. Maybe brought in some other contractors slowly, but boom, it came. And I'm a firm believer, it comes, keep up.
Right.
Because you got this one chance.
But again, you go back to well, month there, you're saying, oh my God, now I have too much. Can I do all this? It comes down to, again,
It was.
be patient, we're almost in building a day. So then you dig into it slowly and
You figured it
go
out.
away at it.
You start hiring
Sure.
people.
Right.
You start doing things a little faster, differently, and you make out. I mean, I worked hard in those first
Yeah.
years. You know, but a lot of people, it's, you know, relationships too. People just think they're going to, you know, get a relationship with somebody overnight. You know, we were talking earlier about my grandsons, you know, and,
Yeah.
you know, one just turned 13, and the other one will be 12 very soon too. So, you know, over time, I've had to build a relationship with those boys right from scratch. It didn't just happen right off the bat. I remember when Jack had a great relationship with him, and then Jay came, and Jay was, you know, we used to make, you know, jokes that say he was a slug. He just sat there, you know. But it took time, and all of a sudden, you attract the friendship of Jay finally, where he's comfortable with you, and he starts doing things with you and stuff. So it just takes time. You got to be patient.
They're learning patience.
Yeah, they're learning it big time.
Yeah, they are. They're learning that, okay, today Grandpa had to come in, get some things done, do the video, get some things done, and they have to be patient because last night they went out to eat. Later on today, you guys are going to do something fun.
That's right.
But they're being patient in between, and I think it's a lesson learned at 12 and 13 that's going to give them value when they're 33 and 32.
That's right, because, you know, I still have to get things done.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Go to business.
just found out a few days ago that we're going to have them for the day. And we got them yesterday afternoon, and I go back tonight. And, you know, I have to adjust. You know, I was able to take, thank God, I didn't have a lot of appointments today, so I was able to take most of the day, but I had to come in. We want to do this video because we can get to it Tuesday.
Yep.
I had some emails I had to get to. I had to make some appointments with clients. I had a couple things I had to draw up from measurements yesterday. So, you know, I have patience to know that I got to still get them things done,
Yeah.
you know, for everything to go on tomorrow at work. And, you know, we got the holiday weekend here with the, you know, Easter on Sunday. And Easter is one of my favorite holidays. I love the whole idea of, you know, Good Friday and all that stuff tomorrow. You know, so you got to be
Good food.
patient to
Yeah,
know that,
sure.
you know, you're still going to get things done. You're still going to have fun, you know, and, you know, it's the biggest thing I've learned in my life. As a salesperson too, because a lot of people think that, you know, they're just going to, again, grab somebody, a contractor, or they're going to talk to a customer the first time coming to the showroom and they're going to just attract them. No, you have to have the patience to know that you need to build a relationship first,
Absolutely.
whether it's a contractor or a client coming in the showroom. And that comes with questions, listening,
Yeah, listening.
more questions,
Yeah.
better questions, listening again, and then collaborate what you hear. Collaboration, we've talked about that in some of our videos, is where the magic is. It's where,
Absolutely.
you know, the rubber meets the road.
Yep.
And that's when trust comes. Customer starts trusting you to listen to you because they just realize that you were listening to them.
Right.
And that's patience. You have to take time to do that. If you don't do that, you're not gonna develop that relationship.
And you're teaching them patience as well. I mean, one of the things you talked about with me, I started throwing some events and getting some specials out there and contacting people in different ways. And I'm going, okay, where else are we going to use the job? You know, I'm not looking for this to happen next week or next month. This is what we're looking for 4, 5, 6 months down the road.
Right.
So you're being patient with your sales address.
That's right.
You're being patient with the sales staff, and you're being patient with your marketing group, so that what we're doing now, you're already looking 4 or 5 months down the road. You're not looking for tomorrow.
Well,
And that takes a certain type of patience.
Well, it does, because just because you put an ad out, especially being a big ticket item like we are, I mean, people spend 10 to whatever thousands of dollars with us for a kitchen,
Sure.
kitchen and bath, and we do a lot of new homes, so we do a lot of work in the house. But, you know, when it comes to marketing, you know, it takes time for people to be top of the mind. They start to notice you. Being a big ticket item, you know, just because they threw an ad at me doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to get people to buy a kitchen now. They have to already be thinking about it.
Sure.
And it still could take time.
It could.
They could see you this month and not really call you till 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a month from now. You never know. You have to have the patience to know that if you do your marketing right and you are gearing it towards the type of customer, your type of customer that needs to come in, they will come in eventually, but you have to have patience with that.
Right. And
You know,
then,
you talked about it with your events when you first started having
Right.
events.
going, Tim, where are you going? He said, no, I'm not, they're not going to come in next month. Don't worry about that. We're looking down the road. And that taught me the patience on how to deliver my piece of what we do here okay, wait a minute, I'm not looking to get these people to react today or tomorrow. We're looking down the road, because you're planning ahead.
Right.
And like you spoke about a little while ago, you're already planning for what could happen if we have another recession, which we
That's
could
right.
have a piece of that at some point or another.
You
There's
have
no
to be-
denying that. People are denying that are fools.
Right, you have to be patient enough to know, you know, I took a new role at Wood Palace to cut my sales back and be more of a coach, mentor to my people. And I have to say things to everybody and so people understand, you with the marketing, my salespeople with who they need to start developing relationships with. Because if we do go in a recession, I've already been planning for that. So I've already have systems in place for that because I'm patient, because I know it's coming. It will come again.
Yes, it will.
Whatever goes up comes down, and whatever goes down goes back up again.
Well,
I've
you
learned that in a
talked
cycle
about the
of
bell
40.
curve, so you're trying to straighten some of that out.
That's right.
So experience, talk to me about the fact that you've been doing this for 40 years. We're having our 40-year celebration this year. Over that time, your experience has taught you the patience that you need today
Right.
to grow even further.
I agree, because there's different stages to life. I mean, just because you've succeeded in business doesn't mean it's completely succeeded. It takes time. The bell curve basically is you get to a pinnacle, but then, you know, most of the time it's going to go down.
Yep.
So the key to managing that bell curve is only come down a little and then bring it back up. Down a little bit, bring it back. Again, you need patience for that. There's a lot of systems in place to have to do that. And I've learned through the recessions in the past. I mean, 40 years I've gone through quite a few.
Yeah.
The two big ones was the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s to mid 90s.
Right.
And then, of course, from 06 to 12
It
recently.
was tough.
They were tough
Tough
years.
times. But the difference between 06 and right around 12 is a lot different than the first time you hit that major. You learned a lot from that.
I learned from the first one to get me through the second one a lot easier.
Correct. And you were
Not easy, but
you were a lot
easier.
more patient, and you were a lot more patient with yourself. And that's what a lot of people don't learn, is being patient with yourself, let alone others.
Well, I try to tell that to people on Facebook is, you know, just because it hasn't happened yet with a job or a business or a new venture or a relationship, you got to give it time.
You do.
You know, Covey has, you know, so many great sayings, and like he says, I didn't invent these sayings. These are things that I've read over time, and it resonated with him. You know, but self-growth is tender. No, self-growth takes time. Be tender with yourself.
Right.
That's what he says, I think, something like that. And you have to be. It's not going to happen overnight, especially with relationships.
Right.
People think that just because they met somebody, it's going to turn into a great relationship. No, it's going to take time.
Right.
And if you want to develop a good relationship and you don't have a relationship at all, then you picture in your mind the type of person you want to be married to eventually, or go steady with, whatever your goal is to do, and figure out what they're going to be like, their personality, what they're going to like, and then tell yourself to that, because people don't realize if it hasn't happened yet, because maybe you haven't changed enough, and you're not attracting the person that you really want in your mind.
Right.
You might have some relationships, but they don't work out
That's part of your
because...
responsibility is to...
Yeah, it really is. I try to tell that to people. We cause what we get. You just said,
That's right.
don't ask for...
Be careful what you ask for.
If you get what you ask for, because it might not be what you want,
Right.
you know? So,
Or
you know, you
More
have...
importantly, what more
Yeah.
was what you need.
That's why I think that song, You Can't Always Get What You Want from the Rolling Stones, was always my favorite song. I just love that song, because you might not get what you wanted, but you got what you need.
And sometimes that's good enough to sustain what you need to do to move on to what you want.
You just hit it right on the nose, Joe. It's stages. And you just got what you need because that's all you can handle at that time. That relationship of what it became is all you can handle at that time. You know, you've talked about your daughter relationships and stuff like that. But sometimes we push those relationships to an end, or what's going on because we're too obstinate. We want our way. We want this and that. Well, you got to develop your right people then.
Right, and it comes back the same way too, whether it's your talking to your staff, your daughter, your grandchildren, it comes back to, they're going to feed back to you. They need to grow their patience, but you need to be patient with them too.
You do. You really do. It takes time. Everything takes time in life. Maybe short-term stuff doesn't. You know, we get our instant gratification in a lot of ways, but I've always believed to think ahead, long-term, because it's all about relationships when it's long-term. It's not just to dump on people.
Correct.
I don't want to sell people, I want to help them.
Right.
You know, so long-term thinking, you need patience for that because it just doesn't happen overnight.
Right. Knee jerk. How many times has a knee jerk reaction backfired?
Oh my God.
Tell me about a little bit about seeing it and watching it and know it's what you've seen people do it. They have a knee jerk reaction and how it's backfired on them. I mean,
Knee-jerk reactions basically come because you weren't really listening, and then you got emotional.
yeah.
You know, it's the same thing Covey talks about with, you know, between stimulus and response. Stimulus would be, hey Joe, I just punched you, or I want to punch you, or I yelled at you, called your names. Response is what you come back at. Now the patience of that is basically, where's time to respond? If I called you a name, best thing to do is just let it go, step back, think about it. Could be an hour, could be minutes, it could be a day, it could be weeks.
Right.
You need to be non-emotional, you gotta look at facts. You really have to be patient with that.
I had a customer one time, it's one of my favorite stories, he called me up and he was screaming at the top of his lungs, calling me all kinds of names, calling my mother names and everything else, and finally I just let him do that. Let him vent. And I said, well, the whole time you're yelling at me, you're not cooking food. Your fryer's down. Let's fix the fryer, and then if you want to continue to yell at me, we'll do that. We got to the facts. This is what was wrong. I showed him how to fix it. Said I'll send you out the part. You pay for the part. I'll pay for the UPS red. You call me tomorrow when it comes in, and I'll walk you through fixing it, and you're going to be cooking. Right now, you can cook. Got that all done, and then I said, okay, well now you call me names. Well, there are no names to call me anymore because the problem got solved.
That's right.
I was being patient. He wasn't. I taught him how to do that. Him and I became good buddies. He'd call me up. He'd be laughing all the
Isn't
time
that amazing?
because I took his anger and his emotion and turned it into the reality that, hey, you're not cooking food right now and you're losing money. It settled him right down. Be patient. Try and remove that when you're working with relationships or your customers and everything. If they get upset, let them get upset, calm them down, and get them back to reality. Knee jerk doesn't do anybody any good.
No.
It's going to backfire.
Kids take time to grow.
They do.
Employees take time to
They
grow.
do.
Business takes time to grow. We all take time to grow. You need to be patient enough to know that if you set your mind in the right place ahead on what you want, be patient enough to get to that step because it could take a lot more steps than you ever realize. Remember the first time you maybe took a run or went out for a sport?
Yeah,
Did it happen overnight?
No.
No, it takes time to get in shape.
It does.
It takes time
And
to
it's painful.
understand. It's painful.
But, you know, that's all part of it.
You know, but if you're patient, you're being an adult. You're being an adult to say, I know it's going to take time. I know I'm going to take time. I know I'm going to fall. I've learned my best stuff from my mistakes.
Absolutely.
Because I wasn't patient at first.
Well, and the thing about that, it's a tough learning experience, but it is a learning experience. And, you know, I just, you know, what your mom said, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You take that with you every day, you're going to get somewhere because you're going to learn about your patience. Your mom learned from her experiences, you learn from your experiences, I learned from my experiences, and we're hoping that we're going to teach people. You know, we're not reinventing the wheel, we're just reminding people, you know, if I'm a little more patient, I may get what I need, and that may be all I can handle at one time.
That's right. And all I'm trying to do is give my experience out to the public.
Absolutely.
Things that I've learned, and that's the whole idea of these fireside chats is really teach some things to people that they need to know so maybe they don't go through it as long as it took us.
Exactly.
You know, because that's why we tell our kids what we do, but unfortunately they don't always listen to us because they have to experience themselves.
And you know what? Yeah, listening to your folks, I don't think that happens the first time. It happens the second time because I'm sure when said, Timmy, Rome wasn't built in a day. Yeah, whatever, Mara, I've got 10 cabinets out there that I got to finish. And then when it came true, you went, wow, she was right.
She was right.
Why? Because she already experienced it.
Dawn finally came into
Dawn finally came,
Yeah.
and that was the big payoff for Wood Palace Kitchens.
It was.
Pollock.
It's what set
It
us
taught you
forth.
a valuable lesson that you carry with you today.
Yeah, two and a half years I waited. It took longer than I thought, but
Worth it.
it came eventually.
Worth it.
And that's when I probably needed it.
Yep. Next time we're going to talk about excuses, and we had a great conversation on this.
Yeah.
Excuses, and we're going to leave it at that.
Exactly. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We have fun doing this. Have a great day.
See you soon.